All right, this is a project I've been wanting to work on for a while now. This is the 1,000 Days in Hardhome. Um, so we tried recording this first, but there were some audio issues, and so I had to re-record it. So it's a little past day 1,000 now. We are officially on day 1,003, but the first time I have the footage of it, I can just show it up on the screen. We were recording this on day 999. So we haven't done anything since then, so there's nothing new. So we can still appreciate the world we have, I guess. So we're gonna go in chronological order. The first thing we made was, well, we didn't make, but we started on this hill. So we started on this mountain right here. Uh, yeah, there's nothing much up here. And then I saw this mountain here, and I immediately knew I wanted to make a mountain base. Right? But of course, we didn't have anything yet, so we went down and tried to find a village. Everything here did not exist before. We built this long after, so like I said, chronological order. So the first step was past this empty valley down here was a village that spawned. So we went over right over here, cut down a few trees, put down some torches, I guess, and made our first little like hut area. This is all still here. We had some iron here in the video. You can see the coal is still here. So
I never got rid of it.
our stuff in here. No items in
We still
there, but
have
there is
iron.
some iron. There are villagers every once in a while here. We have them trapped just in case we wanted to make another village and repopulate them. So these are the villagers. According to Alexander, the Fletchers are the original ones. So these guys have been here since day one. This guy's been here since day one. This guy's been here since day one. Everybody else has been breeded. These are some of the OG villagers. They've been here since day one, and they will be here.
The Fletchers are the OG villagers. These two right here.
So after this, then we were like, okay, well, let's start working on the mountain base. The mountain base is right over there. That is what it looks like. Looks pretty cool. I knew this is kind of what the vibe that I wanted to go for. So it was pretty simple to, I guess, to make because I had the concept in my head already. So let's fly out. First thing was to actually make it up there. And then the second step was to find a way to get up to the mountain from the base level, which is why we dug this. So from the base of the mountain, if I open the map, all the way to the heart, we're going to go all the way up hard home. So this is useful for people who've been here who have only been here one time or haven't been here before. There's a beacon here. We just turned it off. It's useful for transporting villagers and animals in a safe manner. That's about it, really. Mainly for aesthetics, but every once in a while we do use it. That's why the rails are here to transfer the villagers and animals down. Because obviously there's no way to get them past the steep mountain. Below, we've been working on a beacon area where we just mine, but I can show you that later. Grab a minecart and make our way up. So how it works, right, is you just get in it, you go forward, and it's going to bring you all the way up. So this takes a couple seconds. I think it's like 20 seconds about. Maybe, yeah, I think about 20 seconds. You're going from the base of the mountain all the way up. So you can see here, the higher I go up on the little machine, the map is going to change. Well, you can't see it here, but if I go here on the left, you can see the mountain gets more and more unveiled the higher I go up. You start seeing the rooms that we built, all the builds we've made, and then we finally get to the floor. So this is the first area that we made. This is what it looks like by day 1,000, right? One of the first things we made was these like out and about wood areas in the open areas so that we can make it look like it's like there's supports on the outside, right? I want to make it look medievalish, supported by wood, natural as it could be, right? Eventually, I'm thinking of changing these to stone so that it blends in even better and it looks a little stronger. But for now, I like the way it looks. Here, there's a wall of furnaces. We have this theme where any pillars we can find, any areas, we just put furnaces there because we don't have a dedicated furnace room at the moment, so we just have them scrambled all over the area. So you can see here the minecart goes straight through the heart of it, goes down, it goes up one more floor. We have a magnum torch, which prevents mobs from spawning. So if I open the map, it's night at the moment. If I open the map and we show all entities, mobs are only spawning in this section of the map where there's not a lot of There's not many magnum torches because there's nothing there. But you can see pretty much this entire section is completely safe because we've got 3 or 4 magnum torches protecting this area from spawns. And even if they did spawn, it's pretty hard for the mobs to get up in here. They'd have to drop down. But there are some few that can make it. Next thing we made uh, was, after coming up here, was a nice area for the villagers. So the villagers that you saw that are down here that we'll visit later came from here. That's why the minecart rails are down here. We just needed a temporary area for them to be safe, for them to be protected, and where we could manage the upgrades. And this is where we kept them. Alexander did most of the work here. After that, I started working on down here. So now down here, I needed an area where the storage was going to be. Now this isn't the storage, but it's on the way to the storage area. So down here, this is all custom made like rock work to make it look natural. This was all hollowed out. This did not exist. Just dense, nothing, no holes, nothing. This was all, actually no. There used to be This used to be an actual tunnel that existed. Didn't look anything like this before. And then I just expanded it, opened it up, and hollowed out this area over here. So there's a farm area, and then I wanted this sheep area where they are now to kind of look like one of Tony Stark's like one of Iron Man's labs from the Avengers movies. I don't know if I can find the image of it, but I wanted to give a similar vibe where it's like floating above everything below it. So it still looks pretty futuristic, but blends in with everything else. That's why I have it's made out of stone and the stone pillars on each end. So the farm we're currently not using because I'm expanding it. You can see over here I'm working on some projects. Here we just have a water source right here, and we have this is for you put in crops, and this is what's it called, a bone meal, or a compost farm, little mini farm. You can see yet again here the minecart goes straight through the heart of the mountain. On the left here is an entrance for the sheep. You just go in there. They're pretty loud. They're pretty annoying, but they don't bother. And on the right, this was our first storage room. So we used to have a bunch of items here. We still have some items here. Blueberries are here, tomatoes, winters, sugarcane. There's still a lot of stuff here. We don't use this anymore. We don't have to be here anymore, so there's nothing in here that we need. A lot of miscellaneous stuff that we don't use anymore that we used to. Some tools are here, but like I said, this is useless for us now. You can see here, I can go up here in a second and show you what it looks like. Let me just, it's mainly supposed to be more of a circly area for the snow, but basically the idea is that it's supposed to look cozy. Supposed to, obviously there's a glass like ceiling, but I didn't want it to feel too trapped. So you can kind of look up into the sky and see what's going on. And it looks very nice during the day, especially with the shaders. Now here, another little furnace spot, and then the nether portal. So yeah, just overlooking this area. Like I said, nothing special going on here. There's some mobs over there where the magnum stones don't reach, but they can't see us from over here, so it's not too much of a worry. And then down here is where the actual storage is. So Alexander said we need to build a nice storage that we can a big storage that we don't really need to think about for a really long time. So I was like, say less. I'll just farm a bunch of wood for a really long time and make ourselves a humongous storage. So he went out for a while. He came back, and when he came back, he saw this Goliath of a storage room. Now, the bottom part of the storage room can hold, I think it's just under 1.3 million items. The top part, the same thing, 1.3 million items. I think a little bit more. Yeah, I think a tad bit more. But assuming it's the same amount, it's 2.6 million approximately combined. That being said, we only have the bottom part connected to our storage terminal. This is Tom's Simple Storage, and if you go up to the block, you can access everything that is on this bottom layer of chests. So all of this is somewhere in this bottom layer of chests. We have thousands and thousands of items. If I go F1, 13,000 slots still remaining. So we're still not at the halfway mark of filling in the bottom half. But yeah, using a item where we can, right here, the JD Bluetooth is what I called it, but it's like a remote wireless terminal. We can access the storage from anywhere. So if I'm in the nether or in the end, I can use this storage. I can put stuff in, take stuff out, and craft them. Super useful, very much a necessity after we played with it. Yeah, we got a beacon here to power the storage. The only way you can access the items from anywhere, everywhere, is using a max level beacon right next to it. So we built that. Like I said, that was very early on. So the fact that we haven't even used the top half of the storage just goes to show how much we're using, but also how much we're making, because you could see we've used about what, like 700,000 blocks worth of space. Sun's coming up, and I do want to show you what that looks like because I'm not going to get another chance to do it. But down here, I'll just explain this. This is a farm. It's not ready. But here, it's a redstone area that I'm currently working on. I want to have it so that the crops, you can be harvested, and then press the block again, and then take the water back out. It's what I want. So that's still being tested, but, you know, uh, with time, it'll work properly, right? But for the longest time, we just had this, and it 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 did everything we needed it to. So if you look right here, this is like one of my favorite hours of the day, because you get this like beautiful sunrise. You get the god rays on the going through the little pillars of rock, and it looks very, very nice. The day is gorgeous. I mean, just look at that. It looks magnificent. It looks amazing. So I didn't know that the cave would look like that when I built it, because if I turn the shaders off, this is what it looks like. But thank God with the shaders, it looks phenomenal. So yeah, after that, I kind of renovated this spot, built this. This wasn't built at the same time. This was built after. Went around here, made this area. You can actually see this area is still not done. I still don't know what to put here because we haven't been working on the hard home area of this spot for a while. But we go here, and then we made a little, nice little like area, balcony area. This isn't very visible on the map. All this area I tried to keep it hidden. Built this spot. We took a couple stairs here. If you go up here, it takes you to other levels that we haven't worked on, so I'm not really going to talk about them. But cross a little bridge here, and I made a nice little cow pen. We don't really need these at the moment for their leather. We have a nice little leather farm for the steak. Well, we can just buy chicken from the butchers, so we really don't need these guys. This is just kind of a nice area for them to exist. I made this like little hole for them. I thought that was nice. Coming back out, the following thing I made was hard hall. So right here, welcome to hard hall. Made this nice little area. This was all, of course, just mountain. There was nothing here, not even caves really. We hollowed it out, made a nice enormous rectangle, and just filled it up with stuff. I made the supports up top. I made the cave. I basically did all the build. Alexander focused on making the villagers. Took about as long, honestly, because the villagers are very tedious to make. Made sure everything looked nice. Everything looks gorgeous in here. Added the tree. And I wanted to have on this side, it was very hard because the hall was poking out. So I wanted to make sure that you could look out, but you can't really look in. So if I were to, so you can see here, if you go up to it, kind of overlooks the area just a bit, but it's still hidden, kind of mainly because it has to be. If I come out here, I don't really show this area too much, or I haven't covered it up mainly because it's not visible. Here's where I wanted to put an enchanting table. From the outside, you can't see this, and even from in there, you couldn't see it. From in here, you can't really see it. But I just haven't gotten around to it yet, and we don't really need one. So if I like fly down here, for example, and I land on this tree, it's very hard to see what I built. It's very much covered. And if you're anywhere on the ground, right, you see it's very difficult to see what's going on in there. You mainly just see rocks, which was the idea of it. Covered up the snow, this entire like section. It's hard to like describe it, but it's all custom, just like built snow to make it look as realistic as possible to cover up the build. After building hard hall, I think that's when we realized, okay, well now we want to start working on our little town, our little city for our fortress, right? Alexander finished a few of the a few of the librarians. He kept working on that because, like I said, it's very time consuming. Um, and then I think after that I actually built this little tower. There's nothing little towers of big word for it, but there's nothing that this tower offers other than like aesthetics, really. It's just meant to look good when you're standing here and you come up and you just see this tower perfectly wedged between this little hill and this little hill. So he wanted it to look like the building from The Witcher. It's like little island tower. So yeah, nothing over there except for a waystone. So just for aesthetics, and he was happy with it. It was built rather quickly. It did use a lot of deep slate, but we don't really need to worry about that for the moment. So after that, we started working on the actual area down below. So I'm just gonna fly down there. You can see down here, we built the outline. I'm gonna fly up because I want to show you the size of everything. So yeah, we outlined everything. That's the mountain we were just in. You can't see the interior, but you can see everything else in reference. We did the outline first, and then we walled in this area, which is called Fletchford, and this is the what came after. So, just built a bunch of houses first. The idea was to just get a not to start working on the city aspect of it yet. I just wanted to see what would be difficult, what would be the hardest thing to do. And the hardest thing to do, I realized after building all of this, was um, get some food in my hand, was getting the builds close enough to each other, but still looking good on their own individually. So, um, yeah, so you can see they're still pretty distant, but I wanted them to be closer, which you'll see later. We actually ended up solving. Uh, yeah. So then we filled it up, made the grass paths look all good, added decorations, and then it went from looking like a terrible village. This did not look good when I first built it, to a much cleaner area called Fletchford that we now have. Walk over here. This is the main area. This is where the villagers congregate every once in a while. Nice little lake here where the where the golems like to do the little spa. There's fishes in here that we added. There's actually room for a beacon, but we removed it just um, temporarily just because we needed to use it somewhere else. Or maybe it's just off, I think it's just off. I think it's down there. But yeah, nice area. Each building has room for houses. That's their main function, mainly for the villagers, because we're not going to use them. Any house big enough for us to use has it's going to be in its own area, basically. So yeah, nice little area. Next, we started work at the same time actually, which is where we're gonna go to next. We started working on this church, the cathedral, but we just call it the shit church. So we're forward to the inner city. We have a piston door here. On this side, which is where there's no villagers, there's a pressure plate so we can just walk in. But on the side where there is villagers, we put buttons so that they can't get through. So eventually, once we put villagers in this area, we're gonna have to change that. But until then, not yet. So this area, you're probably wondering, why are you underground? Because this area was all wasn't this low. The reason why is because I wanted, since this is the inner city, I immediately wanted you to get the sense that the builds were bigger than they actually were. So this building isn't really tall. By placing you like 3, 4 blocks under, it feels much bigger than it is. This church is not as big as you think it is, as it looks right now, but by placing you underground, or technically under the ground, um, or below ground, I should say, below the surface, it looks bigger than it actually is. So I wanted you to get that scale. So you can see the walls are kind of bulging out or inwards to give you a claustrophobic feel. The bridges are going over you, so you feel trapped, so you feel smaller than you actually are. We go up this way, and this area is very new, but we're going to introduce it as if it was uh, it's natural. I just won't explain it yet. This is the church. So, ignoring everything else in this area, it was just the church that was here. So, when I was flying above, just imagine the church being the only thing that was sitting here. It took a while for this church to be done because the tutorial Alexander was following was terrible. But this is his church. He just recently put up the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. There's some bees in here. There's an apple tree. Nice little bench for you to sit down. I can't really. There we go. Nice for you to sit down. He's got a nice little donkey here, El Burrito Sabanero. You can see, very nice. Some of his dogs. This is a political poster that we've been working on for later on, for lore for our world. Going inside, We have holy water. We have his little waystone and some trophies here, an ender chest, some nice little items. We have, let me introduce you to the people of the church. We have Apostle Braden. We have, I don't want to look him in the eye. We have Judas. We called him Judas because right now he's passive. He's passive, but we know that the second we let him out of this chair, he's just going to attack us. So until that day comes, his name is Judas. Uh, yeah, I don't think anybody else in here is named, but yeah, here we go. John D. Minecraft. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Alexander just fills in the build with things he likes. I help him design a few things, make some few creative differences, nice choices. But every once in a while, when we want to make an announcement, I sit here and I listen to what he has to say up there. I can post a clip of the first interaction we had, which I'll do now.
Boom. All is silence in the church. We have come together today to celebrate our 1000th day. It's been a pleasure with all of you. You, Judas in the back. Um, I guess the Blue M. And I wish for many more, and God bless us. That is the end of today's
Amen,
service.
amen, amen. We also have pig step here. We found pig step, so we worship it here. Uh, I can play a little bit. Yeah, that's pig step. I can't place it in. There we go. In here, I accidentally took a screenshot. In here, we have a nice little confession booth where you just sit, close the door, and confess. I'll add a clip of that. Alexander, I have sinned
When was the last time you confessed your sins?
3 years ago.
And for why have you come?
Guilt,
Of
greed.
6 Hail Marys, $300 to my donation. Um, and can you buy me Gosu And then you're forgiven.
Okay, thank you. In here, we have the... It's actually not much in this tower. This is the tower you saw from the outside. Not much in here. Just simple. There's not exactly space, aside for a beacon below Earth, which is currently covered up just to keep the aesthetics in check. But yeah, other than that, this church was pretty much the only thing built in this area for a while. I mean, I guess I can include this like a little garden area, but it's not completely done yet. Built this around the same time, but like I said, there's not much. This is exactly how it looked like a while, like when we first built it. Now we can use the waystones. So I'd say after this, this is the current setting of the waystones, right? It's like a network. Wherever you go to a waystone, you can teleport to another waystone of its respective color. So if I go to the white, I can transport to any location, desert for example, that has a white waystone. Let's go back. They're color coordinated, obviously. Red is for the nether. The shaders make it look a different color than it is, but yeah. Red is for the nether. Purple is for the end. This is blue for minor locations within minor locations. And this is gold for the farms, and the colorless are miscellaneous. These are just for looks. These don't do anything. Is really this nether stuff. So we went into the nether. Go in here. This is where we spawn. The portal right outside Hardhome takes you here. And this is what modded biomes in the nether look like. You can see down here, we must have been doing something that required us to go down there. But yeah, there's a bunch of biomes that the mods have to offer. Yeah, after that, we found another fortress. So if we take the red network and go to the nether fortress. But yeah, this is the nether fortress. Okay, he's farming Wither Scout. This is what he's doing. Okay, that makes sense. So yeah, this is the next nearest nether fortress we found. Let's go back in. Then we wanted to make a gold farm, right? So to make a gold farm, I'm going to sit here for a second. To make a gold farm, you need a lot of magma blocks. And for the gold farm that we wanted to make, the easiest gold farm we wanted to make required, I don't remember, I think it was 4,400 blocks of magma, right? Uh, but we didn't know that it was an abundant resource beneath the floors of the Nether. So our plan was to go into a magma spawner and just farm them out until we had enough. Now, keep in mind, they drop magma cream. You need 4 to make 1 block, which means 4,400 times 4, much more than we were expecting, and it would have taken longer than we wanted to. Fortunately, yeah, they start spawning. Fortunately, we found a way to farm a bunch, and we were very quickly able to make enough items for a gold farm. So I'm about to click into the gold farm. I look above me, all of that magma. Just imagine 4 times the amount in magma cream. That's what we were originally going to do, and it would not have been fun in the slightest. You can see the farm's working, but we got lucky and we found what we wanted. So originally the waystone was down here, and down here we have a nice guy. His name is Hellcock the Second. He's a friend. He's the son of Hellcock the First. So here we have, he died somehow. We actually have no idea how he died, but he is dead. Yeah, we in remembrance of Hellcock, we have here his a memorial for him, basically. Here the gold farm is up here. I can show how it works a little bit. So if you just stand, oh, if you just stand right here, assuming the egg is still up